What's going on, you guys? This is Cooked Vegetables back in here with today's podcast. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. The title of today's podcast is going to be How SR Improves Your Vision and Maturity. All right, let's get into it. So, the longer I've gone on this journey, the more I look back on my prior life and I'm absolutely stunned at how warped and often completely false my impressions and perceptions about things often was. I mean, the contrast between what I can clearly see now as a retainer versus what I thought was the absolute truth is so stark that it borders on being shocking. I'm going to go through a couple of examples below to illustrate my point, and also in hopes that some of you can relate to this and get something from my experiences that saves you from the same mistakes. All right, first, let's talk about false friends. There were many instances where people who did a great job posing as quotation friends managed to convince me that they actually had my best interest at heart. And for some reason, I kept not being able to see through the acting job until it was too late. This kept on happening over and over again to me in my life, and I remember always scratching my head wondering what the heck was going on. When I started retaining, I noticed that people couldn't really pretend around me anymore. It is almost like some mysterious force would compel them to reveal their true intentions against their will in a way that they couldn't possibly explain away. After that, I'd simply just cut off the interaction and move on with my life. And this saved me a whole bunch of headaches. Second, let's talk about female or feminine beauty. Prior to being a retainer, all a woman needed to attract me was a pair of tight yoga pants, a big backside, and big breasts. As you can imagine, this led to quite a few boneheaded decisions on my part in regards to the type of women I let get around me. Needless to say, the women around me weren't always the best people, and they habitually did shitty things. Now, while it is the objective truth that these women were not good, it is clear that my discernment was off. Because why did I allow them around me in the first place, right? Anyhow, as I became more and more advanced on my semen retention journey, I noticed a change in my mind. I became much more discerning and started to notice and deeply appreciate the inner beauty of the rare woman who wasn't necessarily attractive according to modern standards, but had an inner lightness and radiance about her. At the same time, I started to get repulsed by women who I found absolutely gorgeous on the surface, but now they just kind of repulsed me because there was just something about an air of desperation in how much of their body they were showing off that just turned me off. It's the weirdest thing. Also, the attraction I felt for the rare woman with this inner radiance was not sexual at all, but rather more of an admiration and respect. As a matter of fact, I think this is how we men should really be. We shouldn't be sexually ogling and catcalling women at all. We should be virtuous, solid, strong, and kind to the virtuous sisters around us. Number 3, the Matrix, aka the modern world. Man, was I lost prior to retention. I actually thought the world was good and that good things happened to good people and that the government truly cared about people. I bought into the whole masturbation is healthy hoax. I bought into the always be honest to everyone hoax and the honor your parents even if they are dishonorable hoax and pretty much all other hoaxes that have become mainstream in our society today. Since getting on semen retention, however, I have had rude awakening after rude awakening that have progressively opened my eyes to the truths to which we humans, both men and women, have been kept from. My eyes have been opened to the fact that the modern world is mostly backwards. Good is often seen as evil, up is down, right is left, etc. Please don't let this scare you, because as virtuous men, we actually have the power to change all of this. And I'm looking forward to seeing how we all tackle and progressively shape the world into a much more virtuous and sustainable place. After I went longer and longer on retention, I started to understand why we have been encouraged to engage in as much masturbation, debauchery, and sex as possible. It is simply because by engaging in that type of debauchery, we'd basically be stunting our own maturation and progressively blinding ourselves to the obvious truths that are sat right in front of our faces. In that debased state, we'd be much easier to control, manipulate, and trick into all kinds of terrible situations. Thank goodness I found this practice. And thank God for all you awakened and awakening brothers. Till next time, folks, that's it for me. Godspeed and remain blessed.